welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. We are at episode 336. And quite frankly, I think I'm still reeling from the music. I turned down the music on the using the recorder, the audio interface, and quite frankly, I think it was too abrupt. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's what's going through my head right now. I'm also looking at my email. I've ordered a 15 packs of gum. I chew gum when I work out. It's a very real thing. I chew gum when I work out so that it reminds me not to grind my teeth. I understand that there's other ways, there's other methods. Listen here. I'm very stupid. I ran out of gum last week. I did not get any gum in the past week. So I had one piece of gum. I have one piece of gum left in my gym bag that's over there on the back side of the other chair, not the chair that's behind me. That's my day pack. But I had one piece of gum. I didn't chew it at all. I said, I can't chew any gum this week. This is my life. I have nothing going on. My cat's dead, and Maverick is acting up. So this is truly all I have. And I don't even know if I mentioned that. Yes, Nova passed away. It's very sad. I don't want to talk about it. But I finished the gum last week. I had one piece of gum left. So all week long, while I was running, while I was cycling, while I was lifting weights, while I was using the TRX bands and the resistance TRX cables and the resistance bands, while I was doing everything, yoga, I was not chewing gum. This week, I also happened to just do landmine exercises. A landmine is you put a barbell in this about the size of my water bottle. Or the microphone. You put a barbell in there, connected to some weights, and I don't know how else to explain it. It's just barbell, long ways, and it's just a different way to do some exercises. And it was a heavy week. So I'm doing these landmine things. And I'm grinding my teeth the entire time. You know, usually this is the part where I introduce a guest. So let me get to that. We're 3.5 minutes in. I just spoke to Felix Wolfe. Felix Wolfe is a wonderful young talent from the world of acting. He's on the TV show Grosse Pointe Garden Society. You may recognize him if you are like me and you watch children's shows. You may recognize, I do watch children's shows. You may recognize him from Gamer's Guide to pretty much everything, and Raven's Home, which is the spinoff to That's So Raven. He's also in Pete the Cat. It's pretty cool. Anyway, he's in Grosse Pointe Garden Society playing. This is not a spoiler. A main character's bastard son. I don't know if I would put it that way, but he plays a real kind of smart. This is not an insult, but his character's a smarmy type. I sat down and I talked to this guy. He's very nice and he is so smart. If I was his age and smart, if I was as smart as he is now when I was his age, and down to earth, he's a nice guy. And he dresses well. I'm jealous. Meanwhile, I'm just this slub. I'm a slub and a schlub. Wearing a shirt from Target. And I'm wearing Adidas shorts. I think I got them from TJ Maxx. Where's my underwear from? Columbia? Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's Columbia. I'm wearing 2 brands, baby. I'm doing pretty well. What's my watch? A broken Garmin watch. What's my headphones? Stolen Bose QC35s, baby. I took these from a job I was laid off from. They owed me. Felix Wolfe. If you want to see a video version of this interview, go to youtube.com/C+comedy, where you can see me talk to your favorite celebrities. If you want to follow Felix Wolfe online. Follow him on Instagram at the Felix Wolfe. He's a good guy. Anyway, when we come back, we will talk about the rest of whatever this show's about. Now, you can enjoy the wonderful, the smart, the artist forward, Felix Wolfe. Thank you. And Felix, how's it going today?
I'm wonderful now that I'm with you, Chad. How are you?
I'm sure you've said that to everybody else, so that
I
means
haven't. I swear. What are you trying to make me out to be? Come on, Chad.
I don't
What,
know,
what,
some knucklehead kid out here trying to make every single interviewer feel like they're special.
oh man, he does know me well. Dang
Yeah,
it.
see, I did it. Well,
Hmm.
look, I'm glad that we're having a chance to sit down. I saw you on Gross Point, and I just thought this punk kid, he's up to something. As soon as that second scene hit, when we knew that you were fleecing Melissa out of what, just it's insane. So I'm glad that you're on the show. It seems that you really fit into this niche, and you're doing a really good job.
Thank you so much, Chad. Wow, what an introduction. I'm very grateful. Thank you. I'm glad to make you feel that way. I
You
don't
know,
know what I'm doing, but I appreciate that you feel I do.
I don't know, man. I think you know what you're doing. I'm peering around your Instagram, and you have this very artsy attitude about you, and I just think that it really fits who you are at growing as a person. I don't know you very well, but it seems that you've really come into this attitude of an artist who has a definition that they're aiming for. And maybe you can explain that. What is it that you seen when you were younger? Now that you're an adult working actor, what are you aiming for in this world, trying to get your artistry across?
Wow, I love that question. Thank you, Chad. Wow, that's a powerful question. I better get this right. I honestly, the human experience. I mean, I think that to me is what art is all about. I mean, I live by a slogan that is art is human, which is why AI can't replace it. But it's a false imitation because art is human. Humans, I believe human beings are naturally artistic creatures. You don't see, I don't think horses, painting. You don't see like, you don't, there's so much of life that is lived and lived honestly, yet art, sculptures and paintings and photography and cinema and music, everything that is art, clothing, like all of that is just an artistry, I think that humanity can't help but just I think blossom into the world. We just project artistry. So I think as an artist, I think I've been given an opportunity to get to do what I love, and I feel incredibly grateful every single day that I get to do that and work with such incredible artists that teach me so much. But I think that I really want to just represent the human experience
Hmm.
to not create falsehoods on screen that even if it's a character that's never existed, the relationships that are showcased and the feelings that you hopefully experience when watching a performance, as I grew up watching from the greats, the words that are said feel incredibly human. They feel incredibly real. They feel planted in a place of honesty and and love. I think that to me is all if I could do that as an artist throughout my life,
Hmm.
um, I think that is what art, I think that's a true, honest way of honoring the art and the artists that I get to work with every day is by keeping it as human as possible.
I like that a lot. It's the idea of just trying to get all of those areas of art across is it's very important. This is I don't know if you've heard the movie Shallow Hal starring Jack Black and
Of
Gwyneth
course.
Paltrow.
Love that
Um,
movie.
I'm not kidding, rewatching it today, and a lot of it obviously does not play. It just does not work right now. But there are some moments that get really real where Jack Black talks about his true love for this woman that is Gwyneth Paltrow in a fat suit that he fell in love with. And I think that with anything, with any movie, and that's the part that really works with the movie, where there's this sincere honesty, this rom-com made for dudes that works. But when there's moments that don't. And I think for a show like Grosse Pointe Garden Society, where you have all these characters who have these wants and needs, or people are breaking up and cheating on their husbands and wives, and kids are learning about their real parents, that there's something less obscure about it and something that you can really tie yourself into. And you guys are really doing a good job of getting that across in a dramedy that deals with murder.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're putting a lot on the plate, but I think we have just such brilliant creatives behind it that they somehow know how to make it work. So.
Yeah. And you mentioned being taught from the people around you on Grosse Pointe Garden Society. What did you bring from shows like Raven's Home and what's the other one? Gamer's Guide to pretty much everything. What did you, I know those were just a couple of years ago, or even, you know, maybe longer than that, but what did you take from those, and what did you bring with you from them to this new show so that you could help become the better artist and actor that you are?
Wow, you have great questions, Chad. Thank you so much. It feels like you took the time, so thanks. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Um, well, I think number one, I think the best thing about comedy is it teaches you it has no bounds. Comedy has there's no rules to comedy. And I think as an actor, I think there's so many people that have an idea of what it means to be an actor. And I think that's the funniest thing because that is the complete opposite of what I believe it means to be an actor, is that there is no, conceptual baseline for like what an actor is or how you do it. And I think comedy forces you to accept that.
Hmm.
You want to make somebody laugh, you don't know how to make somebody laugh. You don't know necessarily why a joke, you can't read a joke and be like, this is why it's funny. You can have an idea of why it's funny to you, but it may not translate, but it's your job to let go of all the rules because you could say a joke and then do an action. And within that, the joke made you laugh and the action was just the following action.
Yeah.
And yet, when you perform it for somebody, you could say the joke and they don't laugh at the joke, but they laugh at the action that comes after it that you felt had no funniness to it. That's what made them laugh. So it forces you to be completely, I, almost like as an artist, spiritually like naked.
Hmm.
You cannot hide. There's no way that you can kind of go, well, if I say it this way, it will be funny. Or if I do this, it will get a laugh. You don't know that. So comedy forces you to, I think, take chances and be willing to completely have egg on your face. And that will make you a better dramatic actor because then now, so I mean, so Gamers and Ravensholm were both, I was 12 when I did Gamer's Guide. I was 12 and 13, almost 14. It was a 2 year stint there and that was incredible. And then Ravensholm 19 to 21. And that was another 2 year stint. And both just
Okay.
had great comedians, great writers, really, really funny people around you that force you to let go of the rules and kind of guidelines that you think you need to be as an artist. So coming into something more dramatic, much more serious, like Grosse Pointe Garden Society, um, you are willing to kind of go, oh, I can go to a place that maybe it wasn't intended um, on the page, but yet in person, in the moment, it feels so right. It feels so honest, and that's all that acting is if it feels right and it feels honest in the moment. Are you willing to go there? And so I think comedy makes you a better dramatic actor because of the fearlessness that you have to kind of have to the willingness to be funny. I think is difficult.
Yeah, Felix, I love that, man. That's great. You're very astute and very smart, much smarter than I was at your age. But
Oh, Chad, you say that to every actor you interview. I know it.
oh, 100%. Keep going, Felix. You're doing great on the show, and I hope you guys get a second season just so we can see more of your characters play around with each other. But it's a fantastic show, and I think you are doing a great job.
Thank you, Chad. That means a lot. Thank you so much, sir. I
You're very
appreciate that.
welcome. You have a good rest of your day, bud.
Thank you. Same to you. Enjoy Shallow Hal.
Thanks. And we're back. Welcome back. I have to give it enough buffer time so that when I edit the video, I can just remember to do this. I have to turn off the iPad. There's 27% battery left, and we know how long I can talk. Welcome back, and if you skipped over the intro, yes, Nova has passed away. I I've got nothing else going on in my life, so I'm constantly thinking about that. What else is going on? I took off last week. I did. So the original plan was for an episode to be made last week after the Jeremy Alder interview. And I didn't do it. I skipped over LinkedIn logs just like I did this week because it was Easter week. And truly there was nothing to talk about. And then I found 3 separate stories to talk about for LinkedIn logs. And then Late Night Lately, obviously they were all off. So, Late Night Lately, only a handful of them were on. And I think like 2 or 3. Anyway, so they were all off. That's what we call that. And so the true idea, I meant to say identity, but the true idea was for me to do a constitutionals. I managed to find 2 stories. I could not drudge up anymore, so I said I'm not going to do an episode. Cut to this week. Tuesday happens. My cat passed away. I'm having a rough time. And I say, you know what? I'm not going to do. I'll do LinkedIn logs on Wednesday. Didn't do LinkedIn logs. I say I'll do it on Thursday. Didn't do LinkedIn logs. I'm skipping. Again, I have like 4 stories now. And I did Late Night Lately this morning. As soon as I left the gym, came home, I did a cool down run with Maverick outside. We went on the belt line. And we came back in. Today it was, you know what? I wake up 3:30, go to the gym. Well, I work out because I do some stuff here. Then I go to the gym. Then I come back home. It's like 7. I take him out. We run. This does not happen every day, but we run. And I forced him to run on Wednesday or Monday. One of those days it was not raining. I would say Monday. Forced him to run, and we did, I think, something like 1.5 miles. Let me triple check. Yes, we did 1.53 miles. I remember that very distinctly because he seemed like he was huffing and puffing along. What does it say? It had to be Wednesday then. Let's see. Wednesday. Yes. We did a really good pace, too. We did 1.53 miles. And with a 12:40 total time, but the average pace was 8:17. I hate pushing him so hard. I don't know why I do that. And then smash cut 2 today. I did push him very hard. I'm like, why are you slowing down? And then I ran. And then maybe 2 minutes in, I went, you know what? He literally just woke up. When I come home, he's usually on the couch. I have to put a blanket down now. He's usually on the couch because I'm tired of finding. I'm still finding cat hair everywhere, and I'm finding his hair, Maverick's hair, just all on the couch, fur, I guess. Anyway, but I open as soon as I put the key in the lock. He runs to the door as if I'd been gone for weeks. But this entire time he's been laying on the couch, so he just woke up. And I am just pushing him too hard when it comes to the running for the first 2 minutes. So then I go, I'm going to slow down. And I slow down, and then he starts speeding up. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we did 1.15 this morning. Just on the belt line, down and back, came back home. I don't know why I was telling this anecdote. And then I stretched. He ate, and he when we finish running. This happens every single time. He eats. He drinks so much water, and he breathes so hard. He huffs and he puffs. Just breathes so hard. He comes back in, and then when he's finished, he'll drink so much water, and then it's just dripping from his mouth. And then he'll lay down, and then wherever he lays down, wherever he walks, first of all, is just a trail of water. Then he lays down, and then there's just a pool of water in his mouth. He laid down for a couple of minutes while I was stretching, and then he got up, and then he went to the pet bed, and he sat on that. Meanwhile, there's a trail of just drool. And then he was done huffing and puffing. He looked at me as I was stretching. What else is going on? I just finished contacting SiriusXM about upgrading my membership. I don't have anything going on in my life. Anyway, this is the life, and the life is in it. Oh, I'm playing two games. Last week, Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass released the remake of Elder Scrolls Oblivion. So I'm playing that. My first Elder Scrolls game was Skyrim, and that's been released to hell. There's 40 different versions of it. I'm sure the Switch 2 is going to get a better version than the one that's on the Switch. But I never played Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and I think it was given away during when Xbox did Gold. It did its subscription service, and they gave away Xbox games, and so now I own it. Anyway, I'm playing the remaster, and it looks good. I can only assume that Elder Scrolls 6, whenever that comes out in the next couple of years, I assume for the next the next generation of systems, that it's going to look similar to what Elder Scrolls Oblivion is. Whereas Skyrim looked fantastic. If you look at Oblivion, the first Oblivion, and then this remake, it's night and day. If you look at Skyrim and this Oblivion remake, it's great. But there's still the requisite Bethesda bugs that come with playing Oblivion. And in fact, I don't like to look at things online, but I would in my RSS feed, yes, I read so many news sources that I have RSS feeds set up. In my gaming RSS feed, I saw an article concerning people suggesting that that gamers who play Oblivion remastered or remake, whatever the hell it's called, should finish a certain mainline quest prior to just leveling up their character, because the game is so broken with the leveling system that it's a whole thing. But it looks good. I don't know if I'll finish it. I never finished Skyrim. I think collectively between the PC port of Skyrim and the Xbox version of it, I've put in collectively 40 hours. And I can say the same exact thing for The Witcher 3, and I've never finished either of those games. How many times over do I own Skyrim and The Witcher 3? Probably. I know I definitely own Skyrim twice over, and I know I own Witcher 3, 1, 2. So two more times. So I do own two versions of both games. Never finished them. And in fact, the last time I played Witcher 3, I've been so far gone from the story that I had to turn down and I'm not ashamed to admit this, I turned down the difficulty. I turned it down to easy because sometimes I just want to blast through a game. Speaking of blasting through a game, I'm also playing Claire Obscura. Is that what it's called? Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It's a French JRPG. And, it's a French RPG. I said JRPG because I'm thinking ahead to, I'm going to compare it to Persona 5. And as soon as I saw, I didn't know about this game. The IGN, the only reason I know about this game is because I saw the IGN review, and I went, "What is this?" So I clicked on it and I watched it. It was a 14-minute review, and I just went, What is this game? I've never heard of it. What's going on? Who are these people? Oh my gosh, this looks so fun. And then I downloaded it because it came out, I believe, that day. Excuse me. I didn't know it existed. Then I watched the review, and then I was like, wow, I want to play this game. I put it on my wish list. I had no idea it was on Game Pass. Last Saturday, I saw that it was on Game Pass. Saturday, 8 a.m. I'm working out, and I go, and I'm looking, and I see it was like Claire Obscura's on Game Pass. I download it to the Xbox immediately, and I start it that afternoon. And it's got great storytelling. It just throws you in the middle of the world. The tutorials are good. they handhold you enough, which is really, really wonderful. It and comparing it to Persona 5 Royal, both of them have these dungeon crawling elements. Although Persona 5 Royal is a better dungeon crawler. But it's the community within, the character interactions, the stories they're telling. I mean, it's fantastic. There's enough different systems that Clair Obscur utilizes as opposed to Persona 5 Royal. And I'm mentioning Royal because Royal is a better version of Persona 5. Royal is Persona 5 came out, and then like a year later, they would develop Persona 5 Royal. Same game, just better systems. You can save anywhere. You can. There's more story stuff. Anyway, Clair Obscur is great. I can't wait to finish this episode, take a nap, and then play the game for the rest of the night. Oh my god, I just spoiled it. I spoiled some of the thing myself. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness I don't know what characters are. I'm on the Wikipedia. Thank goodness I don't know the characters' names. All I do know that Charlie Cox is in the game, so that's great. And a handsome guy. Ben Starr, Andy Serkis. Anyway. All right, let's move on. Spotify. This comes from the New York Times, written by Jessica Testa. Spotify has paid more than $100 million to podcasters to take on competitors. Now, we know that Spotify paid people like Joe Rogan and Dax Shepard and Alex Cooper in order to just get their, podcasting bases lifted. And before I get into this, I want these media companies to understand that podcasters they were making good money before, but they were not making, all this money that these people are making now. Before Smartless and Conan, it was truly just people, word of mouth, spreading their names or going on tours. Like, look at Comedy Bang Bang. Comedy Bang Bang should be making as much, if not more, than the Smartless thing. But it's just, it's the name recognition. Now this money thing, $100 million since January to podcast publishers and creators. Since January, that's what Spotify says. The payout is the result of a program introduced in 2025 that opened up a new revenue streams to eligible hosts, but it is also an attempt to draw more creators and their audiences to Spotify, as the rise of video podcasting has driven many of them to YouTube. Video has come to dominate podcasting. More than half of Americans over the age of 12 have watched a video podcast, which is primarily on YouTube, which is why YouTube is which is part and reason why YouTube is so big right now. People are just sitting there watching, 40-minute episode or 2-hour-long episodes of their favorite shows for free instead of just listening to them. You're still getting the same ads. You're probably getting worse ads on video. Here's a little tangent. My YouTube Premium lapsed for a day, and you could not get me to pay YouTube Premium faster. I have YouTube Music and I have SiriusXM. Those are my music services. I would love Apple Music because I have one Sonos speaker, and you can't see it. It's hidden behind a plant over there, behind the pet snacks, pet treats. Yeah, pet snacks. Yeah, Maverick and I, we sit down. Maverick eats I eat some popcorn. He does eat popcorn, and then we chew on some bones together. But I have one Sonos speaker, and I really, really, really want to hear Dolby Atmos with Apple Music. I just want to hear it. Yes, I can put on my headphones and I can hear Dolby Atmos. I understand that, but I just want to hear it on the speaker. I also have a Dolby Atmos television speaker, so it's all the same thing. Anyway, the service claims to, I don't know what I was talking about before. The service claims to reach 1 billion podcast consumers every month, making it the dominant platform for podcasts. That's true. and leaving one-time audio-only platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts in the dust. Spotify had, like, quite literally in the past 6 years just introduced video. Compared to YouTube, Spotify has become an underdog, a podcast underdog, with about 170 million monthly podcast listeners among its total audience of 675 million. One indication of how far Spotify has to go to catch up to the top player. YouTube paid out more than 70 billion to creators and companies from 2021 and 2024. The company reports earnings on Tuesday, which it already did, is expected to make about 540 million euros in pre-tax income on $4.2 billion of euros in sales. Is a dollar euros? According to S&P Capital IQ. Does Spotify have a chance to not catch up? Catch up is for them. Does Spotify have a chance to catch up for their terms? But also, are people going to flock to Spotify in order to watch video in general? YouTube and to a greater extent, TikTok are the ways that people want to watch things. And even still with TikTok, the only way to get a full video experience would be if they can live stream. I don't know if TikTok live streams, and I don't want to check. If they're able to live stream along with their longer videos, I think you can upload 5-minute videos or 9-minute videos. Let me see the TikTok video limit. Well, I was in Notion, so TikTok video length 10 minutes. I was right. I was thinking 9 minutes. But YouTube is right there. YouTube's on TV. YouTube's on iPad. YouTube's on. I updated my Switch yesterday, and I'm getting ready for the Switch 2. I won't be able to buy it, but I'm getting ready for it. They updated the Switch software this week, and they introduced this thing called virtual cards, where if you own a game or if you've ever downloaded it, and you're connected to family, I guess, I don't know, you can lend out the game without giving, without people, as long as you're in the same family, you can lend out the game. I don't understand virtual cards. I don't even know people with Switches. I'm not kidding. Switch is one of the best selling consoles of all time. I don't know. I know 3 other people with Switches. I think one of them sold his. I know for a fact another one does not play his. So I know. So we'll see. And it's all guys. But YouTube is on Switch. YouTube is everywhere. In the same way that Skyrim is everywhere. YouTube was on Nintendo 3DS. Netflix was on Nintendo 3DS. And that's where I watched an entire season of Orange is the New Black. Very true. I watched it in bed. I didn't have a TV in my room, and I was just watching. If you can imagine, just 2 screens. I don't even think the bottom screen was for the timeline, I believe. In 2024, of course, Spotify achieved its first full year of profitability. The new partner program aims to chip away at YouTube's dominance. Spotify previously paid creators only by sharing advertising revenue with them, much like YouTube. Now it gives them incentives to upload videos, with eligible creators earning additional money based on how much premium subscribers engage with their videos. The company is trying to attract more viewers. At the same time that Spotify announced a partnership program in November, it announced that paid subscribers in certain markets wouldn't have to watch dynamic ads and video podcasts. Video consumption has already increased more than 40% since January, according to Spotify. Now, I don't use Spotify, and I have not used it. There was a point in time, I would probably say roughly like 2 or 3 years, when I was bouncing back and forth between Spotify and YouTube Music. There was also a point in time when I had them both, and I wasn't just bouncing. And during that 2 or 3 year time period, I was also updating my saved album. So if I saw, like this morning, a Key Glock album and Benny the Butcher album came out, Friday morning music. I love checking Friday morning. I love it. It's the first thing I do on Friday mornings while I'm taking a dump before I go on my treadmill. And I download the new albums. I love it. I love staying up to date. It's so stupid. But I used to, if a Key Glock and a Benny the Butcher came out, I would go to Spotify, save it on there, save it on YouTube Music. Now I'm just all YouTube Music. It's the easiest thing for me to do. But I don't know if I can go to. I don't know if I go to Spotify. I'm looking around. I see a music video section, but I don't necessarily see a video podcast section. I also see a K-pop hub, which is interesting, and Broadway and wellness and ambient, but I'm not seeing video podcasts. My Shazam tracks. You can't get My Shazam tracks on YouTube Music. I have to go to Apple Music or I have to go to Spotify, which is really unfortunate. Which is, I'm sitting in a car and driving, and I'm listening, and I'm listening to Sirius XM, and my phone's hooked up, so I don't see who the artist is. I just have to go Shazam on my phone as quick as possible. Okay, where are the here's a podcast section. I see Theo Vaughn. Yeah, I see the video element playing. Interesting. I'm not going to click on it. Oh, yikes. What are the 3 podcasts that they offer up to me? Keep in mind, the only, I don't think I have any of my podcasts hooked up here, but the only podcasts I listen to are news podcasts, and music podcasts, and Never Not Funny, and Doughboys, and Teachers Lounge. So the idea that Theo Vaughn, Shane Gillis, and Tucker Carlson's shows all pop up in this main podcast feed. Also, here's another little anecdote. Yesterday, SiriusXM announced they lost a lot of money in subscribers, and I just goaded them out of $3 for my subscription. I want to get platinum, but I want to get it for the same $8 I'm paying for music and entertainment. No, I lost that one. I'm still paying $11. Whatever, it's fine. But yesterday they announced a new Morgan Wallen radio station, and I went, ugh. I do block out stations in the car. I block them out. I don't want to see Fox News. I don't want to see Red, White, and Blue, wherever those stations are. But I was on last night. I was searching for something to listen to as I was cooking, and I wanted to be from SiriusXM. I didn't want to do a podcast, and I didn't want to do just straight up music from YouTube Music. And yikes! I opened the SiriusXM app, and I see a Morgan Wallen radio already. I hit on search, and the first thing that pops up on the search thing is Morgan Wallen radio, which means is under the popular searches, which means people are searching for it. And I understand people like him. I don't want to support a racist. Also on the popular searches, you'll see MSNBC, you'll see CNN, Fox News, The Highway, Fox News, ESPN Radio, Yacht Rock, NBA, 70s on 7, 80s on 8, Fox News, Triumph, Howard Stern, The Megyn Kelly Show. Oh my God. We know that we know that the people who subscribe to SiriusXM and even Wall Street Journal, I know the demographic, and I subscribe to both. Well, I'm not currently at Wall Street Journal, but it balances it, and we know the demographics. Anyway, our people, our creators, our people who make YouTube video, who make video podcasts, are they going to opt into this? Now, I happen to know somebody who works at Spotify. He told me his department, and I completely forgot. But I've known him for a majority of my life. Anyway, he works at Spotify. We ran into each other last week, and we were talking. We were chatting. And I was telling him about C+ comedy and all this bullshit I do here. This guy, he's like, well, first thing you need to do is you should opt into the changing over your podcast to video on the Spotify servers. The problem with that is once you do that, it takes over your audio part. So you can't just have an audio and a video component. You have to have just the video component. And if you watch the video version of this show, you know that when I do interviews with people like Felix Wolfe, I don't put the audio portion into the video. I probably should, but also it's a separate thing. So are people like me going to switch over? First of all, doesn't make sense for somebody like me. I don't make money off of C++. I don't make a dime. I've been doing this for 12 years. But does it make sense for people in my position or even slightly above me who have a following to do this? Spotify saying, "Hey, we paid $100 million to creators." That's great since January of 2025. That's great and everything, but who are the people you're talking about? If it is the Shane Gillises and the Tucker Carlsons and the Theo Vaughns, they already have built-in audiences. Now the story, as Jessica writes here, goes into, she doesn't write this part, but it goes into profiling a host of a horror fiction podcast, Just Creepy Scary Stories. The host, David Coles, said he was reevaluating his, quote, home platform after his Spotify revenue recently surpassed his YouTube revenue. Last quarter, Mr. Coles said he received about $45,500 from Spotify. After joining the company's new partner program, his quarterly Spotify income rose to about $81,600. And yeah, if you have a bigger show, the change could be even bigger. But is that going to be enough? I think YouTube offers more flexibility, and also YouTube is only doing, besides the games that they've introduced, it's only doing what it should be doing. It's doing video, and then it's also got it's got music. People go there for music. And it also, you can go there and find mixtapes that you can't find on Spotify or Apple Music because you don't have to make money off those mixtapes. Like old Dat Piff mixtapes. God, I miss that time period where you had to go find music. Ugh, it's great. Download it illegally. Have a guy talking over it. DatPiff.com. Are people going to be more willing to switch over? Is it necessary for them? Can you not just do both? Is it worth it for someone at low level, middle level, high level? Who knows? Who knows? But I think one of my biggest issues with Spotify is trying to do too much. We hear about there are super apps that are in China where you can do everything there. You can watch videos, you can play music, you can buy things. But Spotify, as it is so damn confusing. Where someone like me, I just want to use it as a music app. I want to go to the playlist I made. Like I was going to read out a playlist. It's called Spotify Players Only Club, and it's their Spotify singles. I love some of their Spotify singles; they're so good. I want to go to my Taylor Swift or my Faye Webster, but I can make those on YouTube Music. I don't want to deal with audiobooks, and I don't want to deal with podcasts because I have a podcast reader. All right, let's move on. I spent way too much time on this. Let's go on to The Hollywood Reporter, written by Rick Porter. CBS sets record with 17th straight season victory in total viewers. The network also has 8 of the top 10 non-sports programs for primetime in 2024 and 2025 television season. CBS, no matter how you shake it, is going to be the most watched broadcaster, I think, until the end of broadcast television. And that's not going to be for a while. Cable could die, but broadcast television will survive because it has to, legally. The network is set to finish its 17th straight season as the number one broadcaster among all viewers in primetime, a streak that dates back to 2008-2009. The 17th consecutive season wins tops the previous mark, also held by CBS, of 16 straight from 55 to 70. The thing is, people in Middle America love watching CBS because CBS makes shows for them. CBS has shows for People who like they love Big Bang Theory, they wanted to watch Young Sheldon. They watch Young Sheldon. They love nation expanding track a show about a guy named Tracker. I don't know what the show's about. I don't know. He finds people. Then they're gonna watch Justin Hartley and Tracker. You want Matlock? A Matlock reboot that's accessible to everybody, not just elderly people? Speaking of which, I love Matlock. I also love Ghosts. I just watched the latest episode of Ghosts. It's fantastic. They make game shows. I was thinking about this morning, An Amazing Race and The Survivor. But I was thinking about this morning. A couple of years ago, CBS said that they were going to start putting more diverse people in their shows. They're going to start doing 50% more diverse people. Like it had to be 50% people. And it's worked out. We've had great seasons of Survivor and The Amazing Race. Great, if not bland. I would love to see a little bit more fighting on The Amazing Race. There's a couple on The Amazing Race right now. I believe their names are Jonathan and Anna. And they've gone through it personally. You can go watch their story. And I do feel for them, but the way that this man speaks to her, my goodness. Whew. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh man. Whenever things get heated, he shuts down. And as a man who shuts down, I get it. But buddy, she came back. You better talk to her on television. You better talk to her. If I had a beautiful woman like that, I'd be like, and I love you. I'm so sorry. We are fighting. I do apologize. You're doing a great job. Then fight in the hotel afterwards. Now, there's also good news across the board. Among the big four broadcasters, 3 have improved their primetime averages from this time last season, and the 4th, ABC, is even with its year-ago numbers. I mean, this is great. You know, besides the Super Bowl, besides the Olympics, sports stuff like that, it's important for these shows to be able, for these networks to be able to continually produce great numbers, because then they'll be making better shows. Unfortunately, before even we had these numbers, we've lost. I'm looking at a headline right now that is throwing me off, but I'll get to it in a second. But we've lost a lot of shows on the way. Now, there's two FBIs. I believe they canceled 2 FBI shows, but they're bringing in a CIA spinoff. There is a 3rd Big Bang Theory show that was brought on this year, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, and that's in the top 10 of their shows on CBS. There's also, oh goodness, there's a 4th Big Bang Theory show coming. I believe that's just going to be on Paramount Plus, and that's going to be a spinoff. Elspeth is a spinoff of a spinoff. It's a spinoff of The Good Fight, which is a spinoff of The Good. No. What is it? The Good Fight, The Good Wife, The Good Fight. Yes, it's a spinoff of Good Fight, which is the spinoff of Good Wife. I can't understand. That, I mean, with all that known, besides Blue Bloods, CBS only really deals in IP. Matlock, FBI, Georgie and Mandy from The Big Bang Theory, NCIS, which has like 15 shows of its own, and Elsbeth, and then Tracker. Those are all the shows that managed at 60 Minutes to get over 10 million viewers consistently and things like that. It's amazing. The headline I saw was something I do not like this, and I do not condone this. Warner's announced rowdy screenings of Minecraft movie with Block Party Edition. I love going to the theater, and I've said it on the show before. We need to keep theaters like Catholic churches, like white churches. Keep them silent. You sit there. When it's time to laugh, you laugh. And when it's time to cry, you cry. I don't want to hear people talking. I don't care what the director says. I don't care what these people. Just if I go to a movie, it needs to be quiet. That's it. Okay. Let's move on. I am fully looking at my email right now. I gotta check my. I'm freelancing. I have to check my freelance email. What? Sorry, I just saw something that pissed me off. Okay. And finally, this is great. I love this idea, and it's going to work the way I hope it's going to work. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter, written by Scott Feinberg. Oscar voters can no longer vote in a category unless they've seen all the nominees. And then Clayton Davis at Variety wrote, Oscar's new voting rule explained how the Academy plans to enforce mandatory viewing. So, a lot of these movies, I hate to say this, it's a popularity contest. Sometimes you have to play the game. That's what happened with Monique, and she called it out. And then she was kind of unfortunately blacklisted for a little bit after she won her Oscar and did all that stuff. But you kind of have to play the game. You have to go appear on talk shows. You have to go to these luncheons, these galas, and all this stuff to campaign and say, "Hey, possible Oscar Academy voters, look at me! Hey, look at me!" And this is a great rule. I love this idea. You have to now have seen a movie or a show in order to vote. SiriusXM just emailed me. I just want to let you know. It's a real serious day. Oh, dude. Is that the title? No, it's Felix Wolfe. I forgot. Oh, darn these interviews. Now, it's a major departure from the 97 years of tradition. This is on the Scott Porter, is that his name? Feinberg. Scott Feinberg piece. The board has implemented what one might call the, quote, Diane Warren rule. That widely admired songwriter has received 16 Best Original Song Oscar nominations from her peers in the music branch, but has never won, in part because the final ballot that is sent to the full membership has never listed the names of individuals who are nominated, aside from the actors, alongside their nominated project. Had more voters realized that Warren was associated with a particular nominated project, say the nominated tune Till It Happens to You from the documentary The Hunting Ground, they probably would have been more inclined to support it. Moving forward, though, all designated nominees in all categories now have to be listed on the final ballot. The Academy is now making it harder for members to vote in categories, additionally, in which they have not watched all the nominees, which BAFTA has done for several years. Something that, based on anecdotal evidence, has become more of a concern for the Academy in recent years, since the reorganization massively expanded its membership and brought in a lot of younger members who were busier with their careers. I'll say this, and this is not to knock Mikey Madsen or the movie Anora, even though I will not watch it because there's not a single person of color in there, and I don't understand how you can make a movie or a TV show without people of color in it. But I feel like that movie received as much recognition as it did because of the subject matter, so I don't want to take away from that, but also because of Pedro Pascal's sister is gorgeous. But also because it was like the hot thing to vote for. In the past, voters were always asked not to vote if they hadn't watched all the nominees, but the process operated entirely on an honor system. Moving forward, though, the Academy's e-voting system in the final round of voting will not allow members to access the ballot for categories in which they have not demonstrated that they have watched all the nominees. The Academy will track viewing via the members-only Academy Screening Room streaming app. As for films consumed elsewhere, like the screenings and film festivals, etc., members will have to fill out a form declaring when and where they watched a film. They had to do that previously in the preliminary and nomination rounds for Best International Feature, Animated Feature, animated short, and live action short categories. This will presumably result in less coattail voting, which is wonderful. We need to have more forcefulness of this voting. This is great. We need this. People need to. It's like things shouldn't just be a popularity contest. The app thing makes a lot of sense. When I was at Warner Brothers, we had a streaming app, and it was wonderful to be able to watch things ahead of time, to watch things that aren't on Max at all. In the same vein, as a press person, I get access to some screening rooms, including when they had one, the Comedy Central screening room, and I get access to Paramount and sometimes Fox, and never Disney, never Netflix. Have I asked for Netflix? Oh, you better believe. Have I asked multiple times? You better believe. And NBC Universal. And that's where I watch a lot of things before I talk to people. I love this idea. And just like have just the idea that, you have to be into something before you get into something, before you vote for something. But now I'm at the Variety piece that's written by Clayton Davis. Now this applies for all 24 competitive Oscar categories, from Best Picture and the acting races to costume design and newly introduced award for casting. I assume now it's also going to count for stunts. We'll see. We'll see if the stunts are even televised. So again, we know they're going to track them through the app and things like that. But the reason why it's happening is because of the coattail voting. This often results in overlooked performances and artisan achievements that simply didn't get enough exposure. By requiring a full viewing of all contenders in the category, the Academy hopes to promote more informed, equitable voting, especially for smaller films that might not have massive marketing budgets. Now, imagine if people just voted in the elections that mattered. No offense to the Academy, but in elections that mattered, and they just saw two old white guys going at it. People wouldn't have voted, or they would have gone for the one who's presumably funny, in quotes. You have to be educated before you do anything. And don't be a person that's like, I do my own research. Don't do that. And those worried about ASR tracking their viewing habits, welcome to the internet. Listen, let me tell you something. If you're worried about this being tracked by this, if you're an Emmy voter, if you're one of the 900 Emmy voters, and you're worried about being tracked by the Academy, let me tell you something. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Last year, I called Disney because I was being charged way too much for the Disney bundle. Oh, no, excuse me. I was being charged way too much for Hulu and Disney Plus, for Hulu with ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. And every month I was being charged something along the lines of $28 or $30. And I was going, why is this happening? I should be getting money back because of this and that. And then they introduced the Disney bundle. I called Disney several months ago, and I go, hey, what's going on? They go, oh, okay, well, we'll refund you the money, and why don't you just sign up for the Disney bundle? And I went, okay, I can do that. And they go, no, we'll do that for you. So I go, great. I'm sitting on the phone with this guy across the country, and he's just very nonchalantly goes, okay, let's see. Now we connect the two accounts, and there's Disney Plus. We'll use that every single day. And he's right. I was like, excuse me? He was right, because I do. I watch The Simpsons every single day on Disney Plus. I love The Simpsons, and I'll continue watching it until the day I die. But the thing is, they already track. Netflix, several years ago, did a promotional campaign that said, with like people's viewing numbers on billboards, and they would like directly address people but not name them. They'd be like, to the guy who watched, this is not the movie, but Romancing the Stone 17 times in 1 week, we feel you. And they're tracking you. They're all going to be tracking you. YouTube Music's tracking you. Spotify's tracking you. Every single service that you sign up for is tracking you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So if that's your problem, then you're going to have to live in the woods. It's ridiculous. The Academy's not received complaints. In fact, behind the scenes, feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. And yes, this will help out movies. I know I just bagged on Honora earlier, but this will help out movies that are in Honora's position that don't have the same names as Mikey Madsen and Sean Baker and what other white people that were working on that project. Oh my goodness. Every clip, every trailer I saw for that movie. And then I went to IMDb and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. And I went to IMDb and went, nope, not happening for me. I'm just saying, I'm more inclined to watch Amelia Perez than I am to watch Honora or The Brutalist. That doesn't mean I don't support their stories. It just means that I don't want to see those stories told those ways. And Conclave. I have to be very nice about Conclave. People ask me. I've been asked a couple of times this week because the Pope died. I've been asked a couple of times in the past week that I've been at the dog park. You seen Conclave? No. Oh, you have to watch it. I'm good. I just got an email. So this goes into effect pretty soon. Let's see. Broader culture shift within the organization, one toward accountability, fairness, and honoring excellence in the fam. And with screeners, virtual Q&As, and digital forums readily available, there's no excuse to leave everything until the last minute. Yeah, you should just, if you're going to take it seriously, if I was in the academy, I'm not saying that I'm not, just some guy who's barely in the industry.
It's time for me to vote. Ooh, nickel boys.
But if you are somebody who is in the industry and you are waiting until the last minute to vote for something so serious, I would just say don't do it at all. Or like if you really, really care, it's an app. You have access to it, especially during the award season. I'm sure people are busy, but especially during award season, just put on a movie in the background, and watch it while you're doing your dishes or while you're cooking or doing something. You're rich. You're probably not. But if you haven't seen the movies, don't vote for them. Don't vote for the category. I'm not going to go to the best actor category and see that Denzel's up there with Keanu Reeves. I don't know if that would ever happen. And Tom Cruise. I'm just naming people. And then go, you know what? I like Denzel. He and I are friends, or he was nice to me once. I'm not going to do that. I want to. I'm going to give my best. And the same thing will go for the Television Academy, for the Grammy Academy, for all that stuff. I would just. It's my duty. Let's just say this. The same kind of, however hard you put in for voting for the United States, for waving an American flag, for getting mad at people for not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance at a sports game. You better be voting as hard as this. Just saying, John Voight. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. You can also watch a video version of those interviews under the interviews on youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can also watch a video version of this show, as well as a video version of LinkedIn Logs, which is the Jobs podcast, and Late Night Lately, the late night show. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at C Plus Comedy, me at Chad Blackwhite. This has been wonderful. I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye. This is this. I played the music way too late. Here we go. Leaving. See ya.